I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just come to you tonight, dear Heavenly Father, and we just thank you for the day, dear Lord. We thank you for the week, dear Heavenly Father, and we just thanks for all the many good things, dear Lord, that we get to experience, dear Lord. We just thank you for our school, our community, dear Heavenly Father. We just pray, dear Lord, that you just be with our nation, dear Lord, and leadership, dear Heavenly Father. Just be with our men and women abroad and overseas that protect this great country, dear Lord. And we just give you the praise, glory, and honor, dear Heavenly Father. Just pray that you just be with those that are hurting in our community, dear Heavenly Father. Just lead, guide, and direct them and comfort their hearts, dear Lord. Ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right. Meeting is called to order. All right. It is 6:01. Item 4, request to address the Board of Education. Miss Angie Wooten. Please do so, ma'am. Huh? You don't have to stand up if you don't want to.
All right. Haley was called to the office on her 9th absent by Mr. Craig and Ms. Strickland and said that she had failed speech class and she would have to do credit recovery next semester. And so I emailed Mr. Nelson asking him about the days. And I asked for a copy of the letters that they sent out to the parents. And he said I could have those. So I go to the office and I asked for those, and he said, and Kate McGee said they had been deleted. And I said, well, how's some proof that I ever got letters stating she was on the 4th day and the 8th day they're supposed to be mailed out. So they're deleted, so I don't know why they're not in her file or anything about them. And then she was told she couldn't do an appeal, which I thought you could appeal because it's in the handbook. So Troy, I text Troy, and Troy agreed to meet with Mr. Craig and me. And so we sat down, and I was supposed to get to write an appeal letter. And then during that meeting, Mr. Dyer said, well, let's go compare the days I missed with the days Haley was counted absent. So he wrote down his days he was gone, and I watched film with Officer Puckett, and of the 9 days Haley's gone, there's 5 days that shows her going into her class, but she was tardy. And so I thought that was gonna be a simple fix, and then I went back to Mr. Craig, and he said, no, we can't change it, because tardies, after so many minutes, a tardy becomes an absent. And I said, well, can you show me that in the handbook? And it doesn't say that in the handbook, it just says a tardy. There's nothing about minutes of a class counts towards that. So I went on that, and then, so I wrote the appeal letter, turned it into Mr. Craig, and he said, we'll give it a couple of days because Mr. Cronister's gone, so they can't meet to vote on it. So he comes back to me during my 2nd grade PE in the old gym and tells me, well, they denied it. So I dwelled on that, So I finally contacted 2 of the 3 on the committee, and they said that they never received a letter on Haley. So I don't know why she was denied when they never received it and got to vote on it. And then the handbook, because they kept saying 8 days, and in the handbook it says 10, and there is a right to an appeal. It says, when a student misses more than 10 days allowed and no more than 15 days, the parents or the students appeal the 10 days. The faculty attendance committee will review the student's absence record and decide if the absence will. So she never got that chance. The appeal letter never got heard. So, I don't know. I guess that's where I'm at. I don't know why she didn't get the right to the appeal. When I talked to 2 of the 3, because the 3rd one wasn't there today. He was gone on activity. So, I don't know. But there is a 10-day deal on that. So if you went back on the camera like I thought they said they was gonna do, she was actually only absent 4, but with tardies that makes right at 8, which is still under what they're saying, the 8-day rule. So I'm confused on what's our handbook says and what's going on, and why the appeal letter was really never read by the appeals committee. So I guess that's all on that. I don't know.
Okay.
2019, 2020.
So the appeals committee, did they base their ruling off of 8 days, is that correct?
Yeah, at the beginning of school, I got up and read in front of all the students and told them about the 8-day rule and everything. And not just one time, but several times that I mentioned it. And that's what it, we first brought it to them, looked for doctor's notes or anything, and there was no doctor's notes or anything on the absences. And, what the, policy book says, because Mr. Wilson and I have both looked, if they're tardy, first 5 minutes and less, it's a tardy, 5 minutes and above, or above 5 minutes rather, it's, an absence and everything. So I just read that off the policy book. And yes, the, letter did go around to the appeals committee. I had Troy take it around for me, and, then basically it was discussed first before the letter, and it was discussed after the letter. And yes, they did get it.
Now, we're under the impression that the handbook didn't get changed to.
Part of it did and part of it didn't. We had it typed up and I had Eddie send it in to Janie and went over, but somehow part of it got changed and part of it didn't.
But somehow we
And,
thought.
Can I say something else? The letter, this is what I got from Ms. Duncan. It says on the tardy, that's what she explained it, 5 minutes, but on down here, it still says the 10-day rule, in the same letter they gave me, the 5-minute rule.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all just,
Yeah,
this was in '08, January 14th.
Ralph, I spoke with legal today over this, and they stated because the handbook was not properly changed to 8, and it still states 10, that we need to send this back to the appeals committee and let them rule on these students based off of 10 days. And that's what I suggest we do, send it back to the appeals and have them rule on 10 days this year because the book didn't get changed, and that's what legal advised. And then we need to make sure the book gets changed during the summer.
Because handbook takes precedence over policy, because it's print.
And that's what was given out, so it needs to go back to the appeals committee and let them reevaluate on 10 days, not just on her, but all of them.
All of them, right.
And what about on the tardy? I mean, the 5 minutes, it's nowhere to be found in the handbook. It just says a tardy and they get a slip to go back to class. Mr. Craig said today in 13 years, they've never issued tardy slips to be issued into class.
Does it say so many tardies is an
It
absence?
3.
We can't change that, if they get tardies, it's 3's an absent, that's in the book.
But I mean, like
But you're
minute
saying
wise.
9 absence, if it's based on 10, it's gonna be cleared up anyway, correct? You're saying
Well,
she has
the
9.
tardies add up though. I think it went up to 11. But they're saying we didn't even have a right to appeal and it says you can appeal up to 15. And at first we got told we couldn't even do an appeals letter.
I suggest you go back to the appeals committee and let them rule on the 10 days, using the book as 10 days.
That's what you have to do based on the
Start the appeals committee, and that's what legal says, because the handbook states 10 and didn't get corrected. That's just my opinion. What do y'all think?
Well, first of all, it was I mean, I think that's what you need to do, is just send it back, you know what I'm saying, and let them, but it will be for the entire,
Sure.
all those.
It would have to be.
There's 44 kids that have too many days in the high
Yeah, I
school.
was gonna give it to Tim.
The grade school and
Here's
junior,
a copy of everything.
the grade school and junior high did get corrected, but the high school didn't. So,
Do we need a motion on that?
No, you do not. That's what we'll do, we'll take it up in our admin meeting and get it, because it's just a request. Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
You need to appeal back to the committee and let them reevaluate.
Item 5, principal's report. Diane Cox.
Okay, well, we've been back in school a week, and today Kim Hempfield started, and she's the social worker that we have for our school climate grant. And so she's gonna be housed in my building. And so we worked on that all day today and got her set up in her office, and I think that's gonna be a really good addition to our staff. I actually put her down the hallway where my 6th grade kids are, where I had my speech set up, because that's at the end of the building, because it is for all the way through 12th grade, and that way it makes it convenient. If high school needs to come over, they can come in that indoor. If she needs to go to high school, it's closer for her to get to high school there. And Becky Bell will also, there's 2 offices right there together. And so she's gonna be in one office and, not Becky Bell, Becky Lockhart, will be in the other one when she's on campus, so.
That's got psychologist, right?
Yes, yeah. And then, last week I did work on, a lot of the school climate stuff because, you know, we don't do observations and that kind of stuff the first week we're back. And, January the 20th, we do have a staff development day. And, some of us will be in team meetings with Dr. Knopf on all of this school climate stuff. But the part that my teachers are going to be working on is he has a program called Stop and Think. And to me, the whole time he was talking about this, it sounded a lot like our Great Expectations that we've done for years in elementary, but it just sounds like it's going to enhance it a little bit more. And so on the 20th, my teachers are going to work on grade level and then the grade level below them and with the grade level above them throughout the day. And they're all going to make what they're calling a classroom management rubric. And it's kind of like, you know, if you did this, this is your reward, or if you did this, this is your consequence type thing. And it'll be made into a poster, and it's going to be very helpful because they will all have these in their classrooms. And like with fourth grade, you know, those kids switch classes to do math, so all those fourth grade teachers will be on the same page, have the same poster in their classroom, so it's going to just maybe make everything mesh together real well. So that's what we're going to be doing on the 20th. And then the 24th is our Rise and Shine, and first grade's going to lead us for that one. This is really Joe's deal, spelling bee. I'm trying to quit overlapping onto him.
Go for it, I didn't have that on mine.
Okay, good deal. So his spelling bee is January the 27th at 9 a.m. in the PAC. We have parent conferences January the 30th, and that's from 4 to 7 p.m. And then the last thing on my report is that for our attendance on teachers, and I had 3 teachers take their true personal days. 1 teacher took 1 day and 2 took 2 days. And then as far as those professional personal days that they have 5 of, I didn't have any. And this is for the month of December. I didn't have any teachers take that type of a day. And then all the other absences for December were sick days or school staff development things.
Thank you, Mr. Westphal.
Just finished up the junior high county tournament. We talked about that even before we started. It went really well. Thank you, Jim Roll and Connie Chalkley, for organizing that thing, and tons of volunteers that helped everywhere we needed them. We appreciate that. Again, to our knowledge, everything went very well. Poto might disagree, but okay. The Hodgin 7th, 8th grade tournament started today. Our girls were playing earlier. Not sure how that came out. I think our boys play tomorrow evening. We need to get a schedule of that out to people. I don't even think that's posted anywhere, is it?
Not yet.
Okay.
It might be now, is it, Greg? Do you
I
have a
haven't
copy?
seen it.
I haven't yet.
As far as the beginning of the second semester, getting at the middle level, you know, we have a lot of students that will change classes. They're elective, they change, so we're getting all that done. Our 8th graders have the remediation classes too, so by the time we're moving everything around, they were trying to get all that straightened out, but it's going well. As far as students changing their schedule. Again, they're only changing 1 class, but it's surprising how much chaos that creates in their lives, changing that 1 class. I have noticed at least 3 new students off just from visually seeing them. I know we may have lost 1 or 2, but I think we're up a little bit, Dane.
We are actually, Carla had sent me a text message last week while we were in our admin meeting, because we were a little concerned with attendance, and we only had like 45 absent because we do have some out with the flu. And we had gained 9 new students by Wednesday of last week, so.
Good.
In fact, I think the 8th grader, 7th grader, and 6th grader, I know we covered the gamut there, covered everybody. One thing that is fun to watch, off-season spring sports are beginning. It's nice to go into the safe room and hear that bat dinging and baseball mitts slapping. I like that sound. We're going to start scheduling our classes for next year very soon. Diane's going to help me with that and get with Janet at the high school so we can get things cranked up for that. It's weird, we're already thinking about August. As Diane mentioned, the school climate transformation grant, our middle school teachers, and I've visited with them a little bit about it. They're all very anxious, but all very excited too. It's just one of those things, I'm sure Mr. Wilson would agree. We went in this knowing nothing, and we're just kind of picking up pieces of information as we go, and it feels better and more positive and like something that's gonna make a difference, the more we get into it. And I know our teachers are anxious because they haven't heard all of the things that we've heard and all of the things that we're gonna do, and it's something that we're gonna build on, so we're excited. I'm excited about it, I know everybody else is too. And also, as we're starting this schedule for next year, this is just something that everybody can give me their feedback on if it's a bad idea, but I would like to maybe this next year introduce another 7th grade pre-algebra class that I can transform into an 8th grade Algebra 1 class the next year. I know that was something we did in the middle school way back when I was here before. It's something we stopped because something with the points, the way the schools, when we gave our Algebra 1 kids they all got high school, they weren't even counted as our kids, and it kind of pulled our averages down because, you know, our top 20 kids were basically enrolled in high school.
We wound up competing internally,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, on the API. That was
Right,
the
and
API.
I think all those rules have changed, and so we might I'd like to maybe reintroduce that, and, you know, if somebody has reasons why we can or shouldn't, let me know, and I'll throw that one out. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
gotta tell you too, Joe inherited a K-20 grant from OU, and
Yeah.
they've been doing really, getting it set up with this other one too, you know, so he's kinda having to do a lot of double duty stuff on that, but that's gonna be a good one, cause he's got some pretty cool media
Yeah.
type equipment with
We
it
got
too.
30 new
Yeah,
explorations I haven't got set up yet.
so he's, that's exciting as well, so, it's kind of a neat thing, but.
Yeah. Mr. Craig?
Okay. NHS is issuing a $150 check to a Heidner student's family. We've had one family local around here's got a couple kids in school, lost their home and everything. So, basically NHS got them in an apartment, gonna issue some money to them to get started up and everything to them. Hopefully get the kids growing as well. They're using money fundraised throughout the year to do so. They also work with me to facilitate ice cream sales, so we can make a little money for NHS. That money will be put in NHS donation and given to the family. NHS induction will probably be early March or late February. Okay, the Heidner archery team has 16 shooters right now. They went to Howell on January the 8th to participate in an inter-school shoot in order to qualify for the state competition. They plan to compete in an archery tournament on January the 21st in Shady Point, and then in the state competition in Tulsa in February. 8 students have scored high enough to qualify for state already, but he was hopefully got a couple more shoots to go to. He would like to get the numbers up to at least 12 between now and then. Hopefully we will. 3 students from cross country received scholarships from Carl Albert Junior College, and they signed the last of December to go to Carl Albert next year. And FFA, they had a district supervisor come down and evaluate the program in December, and everything went well. He was very impressed with the program. This Friday, Saturday, Heidner will be attending the Southeast District Livestock Show in Wilburton. Heidner is hosting also, this will make it fun, hosting 2 shows this weekend in Poto. They will have a preacher. He's coming in from Texas, and to talk to the students, and then on Sunday, and then the show's gonna commence right after it. It's basically a hog, goat, and lamb show. And, one ag teacher's going one way and one going the other, so make it a little fun. They have 5 students that are trying for their state FFA degree and are currently working on their presentation at this point. And they have attended already 3 jackpot shows with several of the students lately. That's it.
All right. Thank you. Item 6, superintendent report and school board recognition month.
Yeah.
Reports.
And on the school board recognition, I'm gonna wait for the end, because we got a cake and stuff, so we'll get that. We'll look at a good picture here, so. Anyway, I've talked to you a little bit in the past about the telemed units, and, we actually were the recipient of one similar to that out of a Stigler Health and Wellness. They, you brought one down, so we have one. But now our local hospital at a EOMC, they actually have that program as well, and they've been approaching us to try to, and we're looking at getting a couple of sponsors. They're working pretty diligently to get a couple of sponsors, and that one seems to be very, very interactive, you know what I'm saying, that EOMC telemed board. And so you can see that they're working on ways to get some sponsorships for the unit. I think it's about 15K, you know what I'm saying? 20K, there you go, 20K. And so anyway, they're working. I think they spoke at the Lions Club, if I remember right.
Yeah.
We went up to the hospital and saw a demonstration.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Did you think it was,
Slick.
it was pretty slick,
Yes.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Very
And
nice.
the thing about it is and this is what I didn't realize, the current unit, we haven't been able to utilize, but like even your employees can get,
Sure.
you see what I'm saying, and can get on there, and then they can, get, a reference, or, at least, have some feedback there. So anyway,
You can check people for flu, strep,
yeah,
all kinds of stuff. They can call in the medicine.
pretty nifty, isn't it?
It is. They can listen to heartbeat, lung sounds, and everything.
So we do have a couple of places, area of businesses that's been, and of course civic organizations that's been on board trying to help us get that. So, also Connie's spoken with, who was it up there? Chris Fenton, so, we're trying to get a little bit of love there as well. So, anyway, I think it's just something that's gonna be progressive for our kids, our students, our faculty and staff, and you never know, you know what I'm saying? Both principals, all three principals talked a little bit about the January 20th professional development coming up. I just put on here that, it's coming up, and there will be some of the same existing team members. We'll have some guests here from Tallahena, you know what I'm saying? That'll be going on that, and this is, what they're doing is they're working on those different correlations of different team members, and, one of them's a discipline team, one of them's a multi-tiered team that they're looking at, and so, and then bringing on Kim and Mrs. Lockhart over at Tallahena, they're gonna be splitting a little bit of time, but that's all part of the dynamics of the grant. And so, we know that it's gonna be a building process, but anyway, that's what we're working on. And it's gonna take a lot. In fact, they got some more developments coming up, I think, later in March that we're gonna also be working on, so. There'll be, of course, the spring semester is always the semester that comes up with the legislative session that comes up. And so, the COSA in Oklahoma City, they're gonna be hosting a legislative briefing, on January the 22nd. I plan on trying to attend that. If any of you guys is
Where's it
working
gonna be at?
Oklahoma City, and if anybody wants to attend, it's a pretty valuable meeting, you know what I'm saying? This is where you get a lot of information about what's coming down the pike, you know what I'm saying, so to speak, about potential legislation, whether it deals with, education funding, or if it deals with, and there's gonna be a lot, the last 2 years we've dealt with medical marijuana, those types of things. And so you could kind of see what kind of legislation may be on the horizon and how it may affect us, down the road, so.
Say the 22nd.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that a Wednesday? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, should be a Wednesday, yeah. And then I got on here, we talked about, and we seen that we did pick up a few kids, which is a good thing for the end of the year report, financially. But between October and around, between December, they have what they call, where they take a look at your midterm, your enrollment, and you can see that we did actually lose a few dollars, through that, which is equates to about 14 kids through the process. So that's a little bit of a decline. And then I think I told you a little bit about, maybe last month, there was one quote that was for the completion of that phase 1 building that we started over there. And it had a price tag of $11,000. So we're gonna look and see if we can get a couple more quotes. And, we may have to reach out a little further, in local areas. So anyway, so if you see that we don't have electricity, no, we don't. It's not electrically wired yet, but we're gonna explore.
Have you talked to Doug yet? Is he willing
He's-
to?
Well, the company he works for is the one that provided that quote, so. I don't know, yeah.
For electrical.
Mhm.
Talked to a guy named Kevin Copeland. He works out there with me, teaches our electrical.
Mhm.
Get a quote from him.
I have his number, Mr. Woods.
Okay. All right. Anyway, and that's it.
What about your jackets?
Oh, yes, ma'am, thank you. And I don't know if y'all had an opportunity to see this, but these jackets were purchased today by Mr. Tommy Newcomer, and he brought them by. He got a really good deal on them, and he wanted to donate these to the school for for the kids. And you know, he's just he was just talking about, you know, how, you know, remembering back in his day, you know, things, and he said, you know, that he just didn't want to see, you know, this time of year, didn't want to see a, you know, young person, you know, have to struggle, you know, trying to stay warm. He said, I see kids sometimes with hoodies. He said, I don't know if they got a coat or not, or if they're just trying to, you know, maybe they didn't want to wear a coat, but he said, he goes, I want to have that opportunity. And he did it, and y'all all know, you know, we're a small community. You know, he recently lost Miss Ann, you know, and so he wanted to donate those in her memory. And I think that's pretty special, you know what I'm saying? So, pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. Yep.
I sent you his information.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, pretty awesome.
All right. Item 7, consent agenda. All the following items which concern reports and items of a routine nature normally approved at a board meeting will be approved by one vote unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items. The consent agenda consists of the discussion, consideration, and approval of the following items. A, agenda for January 13th, 2020, regular board meeting. B, minutes for December 9th, 2019, special board meeting, 5 o'clock, and regular board meeting at 6 o'clock. C, activity fund financial report for December 2019. D, activity fund fundraising requests as submitted by sponsors. E, encumbrance warrant to MasterCard, $8,235.72, athletics, SB Booster Club donation. SB? Softball. Softball. All right. Okay. F, encumbrance warrant to MasterCard for $3,308.80, leadership, WDC trip.
Washington.
Yeah, Washington. Okay. G, general building, LC, SEC fund encumbrances. H, general building, LC, SEC fund warrants. I, treasurer's financial report. Any discussion?
Make a motion.
All right, motion made and seconded. All right, Dylan,
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Tim?
Yeah.
I vote yes. Okay, item 8, approve or disapprove residential rental contract with Todd Vickers.
So we're going to ratify that. He's in the process of getting in over there, so
Everything good to go?
I think they've been doing a little bit of work over there, you know what I'm saying? It's still.
Yeah.
And that's the Carter House, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
all
it
the
is.
cars.
Mhm, yes.
And I also have in that contract for a deposit and rent.
Okay.
Come in here.
Deposit and rent.
And I probably smell like a pig. Did you apologize for that too? Did you get him sewed up, man?
629.
Saved his life.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the residential lease agreement.
Okay.
Dylan,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Danny wasn't here from the start of that.
He's not in there.
He's not in that vote pool.
That lease agreement.
Here, Danny.
No, he's got it. No, I'm fine.
And I'll tell you something, I'll go get mine. Yeah. That's kind of.
Yeah, just, I don't think
What
it's
happened?
correct.
All right, can you pass that one around? All right, item 9, approve or disapprove contract with Community Development Institute, Head Start. yellow sheets back here, go over that on that.
Oh, Cowboys is a partnership that we've had for several years with, Head Start Pre-K Services. And they recently lost the grant from the federal government. And so in the interim, there is, and it's not just at Heber, it's their whole area that they provide, pre-K, pre-kindergarten services for. And so the federal government has an interim company that's called the CDI. And the CDI is gonna take it over, not just at Heber, but this whole region, you know what I'm saying? And what they're doing is they're still rebid that out to another agency to see if other agencies want to apply for the grant. But in the interim, the Cowboys contract that you approved probably, I'm gonna say in August or September, July or August, it's no longer in effect. So you're gonna have to reapprove one here for CDI, which is a different company. And they made one, you know, significant change here that we had been taking the kids over too much, you know, on the bus, and now they have implemented that with their employees and their equipment, they're bringing it over to the kiddos here.
Are they bringing it from our cafeteria?
That's correct.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
All right. Otherwise, it's just a name change?
that's correct.
We need to get,
I'll second.
we need to get Ralph to sign that page.
Okay. Here, this one right here,
Tim made the motion, Dylan seconded.
okay.
Okay, Danny,
Yes.
Dylan,
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
I vote yes. All right. Item 10, approve or disapprove resignations as received by the superintendent.
None.
0, thank you. 11, new business. New business for purposes of this agenda means any matter not known about or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of this posting. OS 25-319A9.
None.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Dave?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
And I vote yes.